everyone. I'm really happy to be here today. In fact, I'm really excited to be here today. We're Stress Busters for the Sandwich Generation, or Empowering the Sandwich Generation, one bite at a time. So I just want to ask everyone here, are any of you sandwiched, or have any of you been in a situation of caregiving for an elder or a parent while taking care of your own lives? So I'm glad you hear that, because you come to the right place to learn a little more and hopefully have a takeaway today about what it means to be sandwiched and what it looks like, and with some practical ideas, some takeaways on how you can deal with it. So just as a start here, it's one of the most beautiful compensations of life that no man can sincerely try to help another without helping himself. How that quote resonated with me is that not only can we help ourselves by helping another, but we must first help ourselves before helping another. And that's what we're going to be talking about when we talk about empowering ourselves and as being part of the Sandwich Generation. So about our talk today, what does being part of the Sandwich Generation look like? Why empowerment? Why now? And crucial conversations and advocacy. So these are the three areas we're going to talk about, all the while weaving in the thread of stress busting the Sandwich Generation. So actually, I'll ask you, what does it look like to be in that sandwich between your own lives and the needs of an aging relative, such as a parent? Anybody?
Stressful.
Anyone else?
It's a lot of pressure. Yeah, it's constant running, scheduling, carrying two different agendas.
Yeah.
One for work, one for your family, because both are not big enough to fit one or the other.
So a lot of, I'm hearing pressure, I'm hearing stress. It's a squeeze. It's a squeeze situation. So if we look at a working definition, being part of the Sandwich Generation is feeling squeezed between the diverse needs of children, family, jobs, our studies, essentially our own lives, our personal life, me time, and the increasing needs and demands of our aging parents or family members. And I say we're family members because with the dynamics today, the way families are blending and age ranges, it could even be being squeezed with an aging spouse. So we'll look at all that in the time that we're together. Just something to consider. Under 30s, people who will never answer the phone or an email, but will respond to any and every text within 15 seconds. And then the over 60s, who will never respond to a text or an email, but will answer any and every phone call within 15 seconds. And so in the middle of this is the sandwicher, you and me, those of us who are sandwiched, who thought email was the killer app of the 21st century and can no longer get a hold of anyone. So I'd like to share with you a case study. I'd like you to meet three different people, Alexa, Tamara, and Karen, and tell you a little more about their sandwiching and see how that fits with you. These are three women, and they're sitting in a cafe over a coffee and a chat, and they're talking about their respective situations. So Alexa says, I'm not really sure I should go. She's contemplating a much-needed long weekend away with her children and her husband. They might call any day now to say that they found a long-term placement care facility for my mother close to Alexa's home. And she's not sure she should leave because she felt she needed to be there because her mother, who has Alzheimer's, needs to have this presence in order to be moved into a new facility. And Alex's brother is working abroad, so he's not available to help her. Sitting across the cafe table from Alexa is her friend Karen. And Karen says, well, it's better than what's happening with me, with my aunt and uncle. They're in Toronto, I'm here in Montreal, and they're in different nursing homes. And I'm running between the two. I feel like I'm running ragged, trying to keep up while getting my twins ready for college in the fall and holding down a part-time job. So up pipes their friend Tamara, who says, sounds like you two are pretty sandwiched. That to me is a case for staying single. She's single. However, even I'm feeling squeezed because my newly widowed mother has just moved in with me, and I'm taking care of her. I'm back in school and I'm trying to do my life, but my mother's grieving and I have her to look after. So all these adults, 3 different scenarios, are part of the same growing phenomenon, which is being sandwiched between the diverse needs of their own lives and the changing needs of their aging relative. Typically in middle adulthood, sandwichers are finding themselves caring for an elderly relative while juggling career, study, children, family, and actually me time for themselves. And often more, their social lives. So they're suddenly thrust into this situation of caring for an elderly relative whose health may be changing, and they're finding themselves making life-altering decisions for this relative. It's not a place that they're used to being. And suddenly, they're looking after the financial, the emotional, the physical, all of the needs of their aging relative. It's a new situation. And their time is compromised. It's often compromised as they're trying to manage their own lives. So just some statistics for you. Did you know that 3 in 10 people aged 45 to 64, and we're talking about baby boomers, are caring for seniors? More than 8 in 10 of these people work. 4 in 10 incur extra costs. What we mean by extra costs is costs related to maybe medical equipment, transportation, and even taking time off work. So this is becoming a growing phenomenon. The Canadian Caregiving Coalition is explaining that these sandwichers, as we call them, are more and more having to refuse promotions, having to perhaps put their careers on hold, take time off of work that could jeopardize their careers and certainly their work relations in order to stay and care for their aging relative. Women are more sandwiched than men, and the ratio is 29 to 13 hours of caregiving per month. So when we look at the sexes, women are doing more than double the caregiving. 70% of sandwichers, or people sandwiched, are stressed. 70%. And so Stress Busters is an appropriate topic. We're going to talk about how this stress feeds in and some practical ways of dealing with it. This comes from Statistics Canada survey that was done back in 2004. So I like that cartoon. This whole grandparent thing is just a conspiracy, our children and our parents conspiring against us. And I want to say at this point that what brings me to this talk and why I'm so passionate about this topic is that I have lived the sandwich generation with not 1 but 2 relatives, aging relatives, my in-laws, and at different times and almost piggybacking on each other and having to juggle households. And so here I'm doing this while working and homeschooling my son. I'm going to school actually, because I went and finished my master's degree. So I'm passionate about this topic Because I thought for a moment, I can't be the only one going through this. There have to be others. And how are other people juggling the various elements, the various responsibilities, the hats that we all must wear when we're sandwiched? So I thought I could do something. And normally this would be a 3-hour workshop. We're distilling it into a talk, a teacher talk.